Hey guys, and welcome to another episode here on the Mindful Experiment. It's your host, Dr. Vic, here as I do my weekly um, episodes where we're not interviewing someone. I just want to share something that can be inspirational, something that can help you along the way, how to enhance your life, help you discover your greatness, and so much more. In this episode, I really wanted to talk about embracing change. Now, this may be a little different than the changes that I normally like to talk about because here right now in the Midwest, we are experiencing Arctic weather. We have negative 17 degrees here in Chicago, and as I'm doing this recording, it's actually negative 18 degrees, negative 51 wind chill happening. Now, you know, it's short term. It happens. It's Chicago. We have this type of weather. Sometimes a little colder, sometimes not as much, but it happens, right? What's everybody doing? Complaining. More people complain. Oh, it's so cold. I'm not going anywhere. It's so cold. I'm not doing this. It's so cold. I'm not doing that. Right? And I look at that from a perspective of saying, okay, where in your life are you letting external circumstances hold you back from what you want to do or just experience things in life? Right? Because how we do one thing is how we do many things. You may say, no, I'm just like this in one area. You're lying to yourself. Let's get real here. The truth is, most of the time when you do something in one area, you do it in others. And so in being in that way, you really want to be mindful and look at life and say, what are you allowing from external circumstances to hold you back? Are you complaining about the weather a lot? That's one sign right there. Do you complain marriage isn't great because of XYZ? Do you complain that your job isn't great because of XYZ? Do you complain that your physical body isn't where you want it to be because of XYZ? Or your mental health or your spiritual health or financially, I'm not here because of XYZ? Have you ever caught yourself in that, telling yourself those stories or something similar? I know I have. And, I'm human. I go through that stuff too. Even though I know a lot of this stuff, doesn't mean just because I know it, I'm human. So there's practice makes progress, as I always say. And so when you look at life in general and you start to look at these things, stop giving your power away. Okay, because you're giving your power to the external circumstances and making it. And even though you may not think you're doing this, you are in this way, because when you give your power and blame or complain about something else outside of you, that's giving your power away. You're focusing away from you. You're giving your energy away from you, and so then what happens is that dictates how you're going to feel, instead of you dictating how you're going to feel. See how that works? And because, remember, the only thing you control is you. You can't control anybody else. Your job is not to control anybody else. Your job is just to control you and what you do every single day. Imagine the kind of world we live in if we just did that and just focused on us and what we can change within ourselves every day. Might be a little different. And so when it comes to looking overall, instead of giving your power away, what is it that you can do to bring your power back? Right? Now, this is going to take a little bit of some responsibility. You're going to have to own it. Right? Whatever happens in your life happens through you, not to you. The universe is always working for you, not against you. So it's one of those things that you have to understand that premise. Right? You have to understand that it's always working for you. Now, if it comes to cold weather here in Chicago, which most people probably did stay in, most people probably were like, I'm not doing anything. I was like, perfect. What places are open? I'm going to do my grocery shopping. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go here. I went to the dentist. They were open. I was like, if you guys are open, I'm coming. And I was like, I don't mind the cold at all. But it's one of those things that I embraced it and took it on. Now, here's something else I did. I go, wow, negative 17 degree temperatures, wind chill of negative 50. All right, this is kind of like doing some cryotherapy. So what do you think I did? Yep, you bet. I went into my sauna. I went and stayed in there. It was like 140 degrees when I got in there, and it went down to about 135, and it's infrared, so it penetrates deep into me. And I did my meditation, and I stayed in there for an extra 7 minutes just to get as hot as I possibly could. And then what I did is I came out, dried off all the sweat. I was only in shorts, and I walked outside, and I stood outside for 7 minutes and 2 seconds. Now, some may say, why the heck would you want to do that? I'm embracing the change. I'm taking it on. I'm going to embrace whatever it is that I have that I can do. And for me, that's health benefits. Cryotherapy helps with circulation. Now, it's not the absolute best. I mean, there's other things you can do that's a more or better, but I couldn't do a cold plunge outside because it's too cold. I couldn't, I could have went to a place to do it. I don't have a cryotherapy tank where with liquid nitrogen, it takes the temperature down to negative 270. I just don't have that. I have access to it, but I don't have it. And so I was like, well, I'll do this instead. And I'm accepting it and accepting where I'm at for the moment. Yeah, it's not the best of what I would want, but it's better than what nothing is. And so you embrace the change and you take that on. So doing this one thing in your life in any area will transform everything. When it comes to a marriage, right? 50% of marriages end up in divorce. And that stat seems about as solid as it's been 10 years ago. But one of the things is, why? Right? What is it that goes on? So if marriage isn't where you want it to be, what are you doing and where are you at? You see, when I coach individuals and I work with them either an individual side or a group side, I never care about what's happening to them. I don't ever really, not that I don't care. Let me take that back. It's more of just, that's not the root, right? I'm more about what is going on with you. Because all we can do is work on you. We can't do anything else. All we can work on is where you're at, where your mindset is, what's your viewpoints, what's your vantage points, and how are you seeing things. And then we do the work to see something different. And it's amazing how things change when we just change the vantage point or the different perspective. And that's embracing change, because change isn't always bad. It's actually good most of the time. Sometimes we're just caught in a rhythm. Humans, as much as I think sometimes the older we get, the more we don't like change. I'm someone that still loves change, but I can catch myself a little bit going, whoa, okay. I see how I can be resistant here a little bit. And always remember, what you resist persists. So if you ever resist change, you're going to see more of it happening. If you resist this, you're going to see more of it happening. So embrace the change, but more importantly, how can it enhance you? How can it help you? How's it going to make you a better person? And I want to say better person. How's it going to help you remember the greatness that exists within you? How is that going to help you remember the light that's within? That beauty, that essence, the uniqueness of who you are, that infinite source energy. That, my friends, when you start looking for it there and start asking that question, it changes the game. It changes the perspective. So it's one of those things to where when change happens in your life, good or bad, right? Because good or bad is just what you put on it. In the spiritual world, whatever happens, it just is. There's no like, ooh, that's bad and this is good. Spiritual world doesn't see it that way. And so the same thing for you is what you put on it, how you perceive it, the vantage point you come from is going to determine the outcome. You're the storyteller. You're the author of your life. So you dictate what's good and what's bad. And so when it comes to your life, that's something to be really focused on and make sure that you are crystal clear in understanding and knowing that you choose every single day. And anytime you are looking outside yourself, putting your focus and attention outside of you, you are giving your power away. And when you give your power to something else, it magnifies that instead of magnifying you. And my friends, you always want to focus on you, because when you have your power back to you, that's when you can do all things. And I'm talking all things. Anything is possible when you retain your power and keep it within you. It's unbelievable. And the people I've worked with, when I teach them this and work with them on it, it's amazing how when you can see the shift happening, you can see it starting to slide over, and you're just going, yeah, they're getting it. They're waking up. They're starting to see things a little different. They're starting to become more aware. And all of a sudden, their whole life changes, and they go from living the 1% reality to start tapping into the 99%. And some get scared. Some are like, what's happening to me? What's going on? I'm starting to see things I didn't see before. And I'm not talking about like seeing things with their eyes. It's just within their vantage point, their perspectives. They start to see people a little different. Maybe their friends change. Maybe they don't start talking to certain family members anymore, or maybe they talk to other ones. It's amazing how when you evolve and change, the things around you change with it. Because really, your outer world is just a reflection of your inner world. And so the changes that you deal with on a daily basis, remember that those changes are there to serve you. And that's why I love seasons so much, because it's always in a constant flux. It's always in a constant change. And here in Chicago, for example, negative 17 degrees this morning. But guess what? In 3 days from now, we're going to be at 53 degrees. And then a day and a half from then, we'll be back down to 10. Gotta love Chicago. But you know what, though? Those extremes, ups and downs, are good to challenge your nervous system. They're good to help in the process, and you want to embrace that. Don't get me wrong. I don't like the cold, but I embrace it. Just because I don't like to work out, but I embrace it and I do it. There's things I don't like to do, but I do them because I know how much it benefits me and my health overall in the end. And so when a change happens, sometimes it's not fun, but guess what? It's the adapting to that change and accepting that change and working with the change to know that it's always working for the best and that the universe knows better than everything else. So when it comes to your life, just practice some of these things and let me know what you think. When you start doing them, let me know. Shoot a message on our Facebook page. Join our private Facebook group, Empowered Living with Dr. Vic, and chime in if you heard something you liked, a podcast, read the book, or anything along those lines. You go ahead and chime in and just share. It's all about, I never know what I'm going to say that may help shift, inspire an individual to transform their life to be better. I never know. I don't know. That's why I put this stuff out here. I know that with my intention before I do a podcast recording is always to at least influence and transform one person's life to raise their consciousness in the light of who they are. That is the deepest, most premise of the intent that I have, and it's one of those things that I hyper-focus on. So any questions you may have, please shoot me an email at drvic@empoweryourreality.com. And as always, I'm here to help and serve. I want to thank you for being a listener. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed to our podcast, please do. And if you do and you've been enjoying the podcast, please share a review. It really helps out the ratings and helps get more people to get to this message and hear more about what we're doing here at Empower Your Reality and the Mindful Experiment podcast. So thank you guys as always. Until next time, just keep rocking and rolling, and I'll check you out in the next episode.